All right, for our praise break moment, as I mentioned, I want to be intentional about remembering that this is Black History Month. And so our praise break moments seem to always have a tie-in. So this praise break moment goes out to the Tuskegee Airmen. In all, there were 992 pilots who were trained in Tuskegee from 1941 to 1946. 355 of those were deployed overseas. 85 lost their lives, and the toll included 68 pilots killed in action or accidents, 12 killed in training, non-combat missions, and there were 32 who were captured as prisoner of war. Our praise break moment comes with the name of one that was captured. His name is Alexander Jefferson. My mother's maiden name is Jefferson, so he could be family far as I know. But Alexander Jefferson, a Tuskegee Airman, and he documents this story of his. He says, "I was flying my 19th mission when there was to knock out the radar stations along the harbor and southern coast of France to prevent Germans from detecting the Allied invasion ships, which 3 days later, as a part of Operation Dragoon, would land between Marseilles and Nice. It was a beautiful, clear day with unlimited visibility when our 16 P-51s flew in over the coast in 4 flights of 4 each, and the first 3 sets of 4 went in. I was soon shot down. Parachuting to safety and landing within a forest, he said that he was captured immediately by Nazi ground troops. He was sent to prisoner of war camp in Stalag Luft in Poland, a specialist Luft run camp by the captured Allied Air Force personnel. Uh, the shout in this is the thought, and it'll kind of go in with what we're going to talk about today, is that no matter what you're in, no matter where you're located, high or low, God is still a keeper of those whom he chooses to keep. We read the story. All the Tuskegee Airmen were not lucky. All of them didn't make it. But here, as we look at the life of Alexander Jefferson, he survived that POW camp and was soon released after he had spent some uh, 8 months as a POW. He stated, "The only time I was afraid was when we ran into some young Hitler kids yelling obscenities. But as they translated, they were actually calling me an air gangster," which he laughed and said, "Today that could be seen as a compliment." What I want to tell somebody as we think about this is that God is a keeper. Even after the bullets, even after the ejection from the cockpit, even after the parachute down, even after the capture behind enemy lines, God is a keeper. We can look at that many ways in our own lives. Even after the darts of the enemy were shot at you, even after there was an ejection from your comfort zone into a place where you didn't even know where you were, even after you landed safely in what you thought would be a place of refuge and it turned into a place of horror, even after that, God kept us. It didn't matter what was around us. It didn't matter what the enemy tried to do to us. We bid our time in those locations, like most of us, and we made it out. Can anybody shout to the fact that you made it out? All of us have come from someplace where we were flying in uncharted waters and over uncharted territory, and yet God, even in the midst of what looked like a crash and burn scenario, we survived. That's a Black history moment for anybody as we look at the life of this. And the last thing I'll say when he talked about them calling him the air gangster is that God can make your enemies compliment you. Oh, man. After it's all said and done, those who were yelling the obscenities at him were actually complimenting him that he was a bad man. And so that's our Black history moment for a praise break. I pray that was for somebody.